Okay, today on Randy Repairs It, we're going to pull this deck off of this Castle Garden XD150 and probably do a couple things. This is winter time. I've got a couple of gashes in it. I hit a rusty chain that was out in the field this past summer. I had taken the blades off, I sharpened them up, but I noticed there were some gashes in the deck that went through. So I want to get this deck out. I want to do a thorough inspection, clean it up, grind those gashes, hammer them flat if possible, weld them back up and paint it, put it back together. So that's the plan today, how to take a deck off and repair it. I've already taken off the side plastic guards. And the deck's lowered all the way down, but it's got these plastic guards on the. That's probably the one I need too. It's got these plastic guards on over the belt. I got a brand new set of sockets, and the 8mm is missing. I just noticed that. Okay. If you guys can see this or not, let me bring you in a little closer, take a look. You can see what I'm seeing. I've never had this deck off before, so we got to figure out how to take it off the easiest way. So I think that bolt, actually that arm has to come off. That's pretty straightforward. That pin, now that pin, yeah, there's a pin right here. This pin will need to come out. That comes off. There's a pin in the back. That comes off. And then the belt's gonna, and I gotta get the guard off the other side. So, all right, I think I can do this pretty easily. Pull that pin. Pull that pin. Do you think that's a gash, or I wonder if that's a design? Let me see if it's the same on the other side. I can't imagine they would design it with a slit in it, but they might. They might have. Well, it looks like a perfect tear, doesn't it? Let me get you up. Looks like a perfect tear, like something hit it, and it's a little jagged on the inside. All right. I'm gonna go to the other side, pull the guard off of that, pull those pins, get this deck out, and I'll be back. All right, I've about got it where it's gonna come down. Get this out of the way here. I believe these cuts are from the factory. They're not. From the bottom, it looked like I gashed it. Whoa. Okay. And I was pretty sure I had. Okay. So we got the deck out. The washer back over on this side, so I don't lose it. Keep all the tools together. Okay. Turn it upside down. Okay. So yeah, this is what I saw from underneath. And in the, with the grass in the way and whatnot, I thought for sure that I had split it when I hit that chain. but that's just the way they designed it. So that's good, that's less work. But while I got it apart, I'll scrape the bottom down. I'll look for any kind of rust damage. I'll pull the blades off. We'll give those a sharpen, and we'll paint it up if there's any rusted areas, or I may shoot some paint on this just to protect it another season. So it's a good time of year to do it. The belt looks good, as it should. It's legitimately just a year old. I don't see any cracks, or I might run up to the hardware store and see if they've got a new belt for it. So I could just pop a new belt on it. Maybe change the oil while I'm in it too. Do a couple maintenance steps on this thing. Give it a bath, wash it down. Okay, let me get this deck cleaned up, and we'll sharpen the blades. I'll show you what I'm doing when I do that. All right, I gotta show you guys this. Not what I was expecting. So I was getting upset because this I bought a deep well impact socket set. This is off Amazon, mainly for my to use with my hydraulic press. I have spacers and things like that, but it works great for this. Not a problem. They didn't put a 15 millimeter in it. It goes 14, 16. I don't know why there's a 16. Anyway, let me get you in on that. We'll get you a little closer. Let me turn it so you're not craning your heads. Okay. So I go to put the 14 on the nut, and it doesn't go. I'm like, okay, so it's a 15. So I go get the 15 that I have. It's too loose, believe it or not. And I have very few that I brought with me. It's a 9/16. Is that not wild? And I don't remember that from taking it off before. I'm pretty sure I would have used a 15 millimeter to get this thing off. I don't remember using a 9/16. I think that's really odd for a European piece of equipment. Okay, so on these, if you take this off, just so you know, and this is true for a lot of other brands, there is a Woodruff key on these. So you want to be careful not to lose that, because if you put this back on, if you're underneath this, you take this down, you lose this Woodruff key, you put this back on, your blades are going to spin somewhat, but they're going to kind of just be, they're not going to cut the grass. And then you're going to think there's something wrong with the deck or whatever. And it's just a Woodruff key. These are also called shear keys, shear, S-H-E-A-R, because they're intended, if your blade hits something really hard, like a stump or a big rock or something, these are intended to shear so you don't snap or bend the blade and you don't damage the spindle. That's kind of the key for those. So just so you know, but we'll put that there for now. All right. So these aren't horrible, but I'm gonna put them in the vise, hit them with the grinder, and sharpen them up. So let me move you over here. Sit up on that. All right, I'll be back. All right, a couple of things with the grinder. Lots and lots of personal protective equipment with these. I've done a tremendous amount of grinding. I've had, even recently, I had a blade. It might have even been this one. A chunk of this, it was this one. And this is a Bosch. This is a good brand. It's a Bosch Pro. A chunk of this came off while I was grinding. It's funny, but not funny. I had safety glasses on. but I didn't have my face shield. I had my face shield on and up like this. I forgot to pop it down, and it hit me right in the cheek, the little piece that came off. Left a little blood spot, and I'm like, oh crap. And then, you know, I put the shield down and finished up. But even with high quality grinding discs, it can, you know, they can come apart. These discs here, these FGC discs that I use mainly for cutting, because they're really not worth much else. Let me show you one that's off. I've been use them for cutting. These are really cheap, and I get them at the Chinese store here in Italy. And they work, but I really have concerns about them coming apart. So safety glasses. Or in my case, these are high impact eyeglasses. Face shield to protect the rest of your face. A mask, because when you're grinding this metal, the dust from the grinding wheels, the material from the grinding wheels is coming off. The metal is coming off. Carbon, you're getting all sorts of nastiness in the air. And you can see, this is one I've used quite a bit, and it's all on the outside. Look at all the black on the outside, and that's not just from my hands covering up. And then you also want gloves, and I got to tell you this funny story. I worked as a fabricator for a company that made they made a lot of different stuff. They made car washes of all things, but that's not the line I worked on. I made cattle gates, head gates systems, and ripping plows. So. And I would weld all this together, and it was like an assembly line work. You come in, you know, you bend the pipes where you want them. It's all jig set up. You put the pipes in the jig. You do your welds. You check your welds. You grind them back down. You check everything again. Touch up anything you need. Send it over to powder coat. They powder coat it, and you know the rest is history. So I would use this giant 8 or 10 inch grinder. It was massive. Because I'm going all day and I don't want to be changing these little discs every 5 minutes. And I had gloves on. I had these heavy leather gloves on, and I'm working on this grinding, and I'm grinding down this weld that just didn't go deep enough. I think I was working on a ripper, and you have to really get the weld to penetrate in at least a half, 3/4 of an inch. It's very, very thick. It's 1 1¼ inch thick steel tubing that this thing is the foundation of it, and you got to get the stanchions in deep on the welds, or they'll just shear off. Anyway, I was grinding out the weld to make sure it was down, and this big grinding disc is getting into my glove. I don't feel it. I don't feel it hitting, and I'm going, and all of a sudden I feel this burning in my knuckle, and I'm like, what the heck is that? And I look down, and it had literally, you can't really tell to this day, but it had taken like the top of the knuckle and the skin, cauterized it completely. I never felt it, but I think to this day, had I not had the heavy leather gloves on, it might have done a lot more damage than it did, because it just kind of took the skin off. But true story on those rippers. I had one come back, and one of my coworkers was making fun of me. He's like, "Oh, your weld failed. You screwed it up." And I'm like, "All right, it happens. You know, no worries. I'll fix it." And I got the thing up on my workbench, and I took a look at it, and the weld on the stanchion where the tungsten steel ripping blades bolt in, there's a little stanchion that comes out of it, and that's what you weld in. The welds were still solid, and this guy had hit whatever he hit, and it ripped the tubing. This inch and 1/8, inch and 1/4 tubing sheared it. It was wild. So I spent the day, heated it up, pounded it back down, ground it out, welded that back up, and sent it back out for powder coat, and customer got it back. But anyway, all right, so mask, face shield. Where did it go? What did I do with it? The gloves. Hang on a second. Oh, last thing, hearing protection. Hearing protection for these grinders. They're very loud. Very loud. All right, and I'll turn the volume down so you don't have to brace yourself. I'll turn it down on this. All right, so here's the top. All right, the reason we do that, we're taking out any rips or jagged edges before we go put the edge back on. All right, flat on the back and breathe. Okay. Oh yeah, nice, nice, nice. Okay. Get this off so I can talk to you. So you take the top, just grind real quick. That takes off any nicks or jagged pieces or whatever. Then you stay at the same angle and just clean it back up again. Briefly and very flat on the back, and you can see I didn't even get all of it. You don't want to angle it at all. This isn't a double bevel, it's flat back here. The design is perfect on these. You don't need to redesign the angle of the cut. It's not going to be razor sharp, but it should be sharp when you're pulling your finger across it. If you make it too sharp, it's just gonna, the first time you hit sticks or little stones or sand or whatever, it's gonna tear it up. So, okay, so second blade's done. I wasn't gonna bore you with that. It's the same, like a rinse and repeat type thing. All right, let's pop these back on. So, back down here, where you're looking at it here. So I'm gonna check, I checked this shear key too, just to make sure it's not sheared and it's in good shape. So put it back in, kind of inspect it. Oh yeah, I was gonna clean this up, wasn't I? Before I put these back on. Hang on. When I lived in Florida, my wife and I had a little 10 acre farm, cattle, chickens, stuff like that. I had a John Deere tractor that I bought new because I needed it. It had a big brush cutter on it. Front loader, all the stuff that you needed, you know, to maintain the fields anyway. And I had bought this little Cub Cadet to do like the yard around the house, the grass that grew in and around the front orange grove, places that the John Deere, the big tractor, couldn't reach. I bought this Cub Cadet for that. Decent lawnmower. You know, it was one I got at Home Depot or Lowe's, I don't remember. The sand would chew the blades up about every 5th or 6th mow, and I was constantly replacing blades on that thing. And the sand would sandblast the inside of the deck. And by the end of every season, I had tons of rusted, rotted areas that I have to cut out, patch in. And by the time I sold that tractor, the little lawnmower, before I moved here, I think most of the deck, I'm kind of joking about it, but a lot of the deck was old blades that I had cut and welded in to patch over the holes from the sand blasting it. not gonna have that problem here. There's no sand. The problem I have here at this property mainly are hitting rocks and then because it was the first year we were here, I have a meadow over here, and I have a meadow over on this side. It's like separate, and then I have olive groves in the front and olive groves in the back of the property. So the olive groves the grass between the trees doesn't grow really fast or big or thick or anything like that. So it's pretty easy to go through that. And if you go back and watch some of my videos from Your Essential Lily, you'll see where one of the olive trees split my scalp open while I was on this tractor. So went underneath the branch, and it happens. Accidents happen. But these meadows weren't taken care of. There was the lady that owned this property is a widow. She's still around. I guess some guy was coming by and cutting the grass once or twice a year for the hay for his sheep. And this meadow on this side over here is all alfalfa. So I guess that's what he was doing. But it was, when we bought it, he hadn't cut it in probably close to a year by then. And so she gave us his number. We called him up. The guy was like, yeah, I'll come out and mow it. Like, cool. So I didn't mow it purposely. It wasn't that, it wasn't horrible. This would have done it in a couple of passes, but it wasn't horrible. The guy kept putting us off. Finally said, you know what? I don't have time to do it. Well, by then it was way too tall for this thing to cut, and I ended up having to pay somebody to come out with their brush hog and take it all out. Since then I've kept up with it, but getting back to my point, it had trash in it. Like I hit a rusted chain. There were stumps, there were bottles, full bottles, all sorts of crap that's out there. So now that I've got it down and I've mowed it a few times, I think I got most of the trash picked up that I could find. So, but I'm glad to see this is not damaged. This is some kind of engineered vent, be my guess. So that's good. Yeah, because I sure couldn't tell from the bottom. All right, I'm gonna clean up. I don't know what this nut's for. It's for the tensioner pulley. Okay, I'm gonna clean that up, and I'm gonna get some rust remover on it, and we'll get it painted so it doesn't rust. Yeah, that washer's pretty rusted. All right, it might be better just to take it off and either replace that washer or clean it up. Okay, let's do that. Just the washer. It's just you can see it's shiny on that side, and it's rusted on that side. All right, we got it all nice and shiny. I didn't have to put any rust remover on it. Pop it back in. Pretty nice. Did a great job getting that surface rust off of there. If I'd have had one that size, I just would have replaced it, but I don't have one that size. All right. And just paint it, so it's all covered up. I realize it's galvanized, but it's exposed to a lot of moisture and contamination. All right, I didn't get that on camera, sorry guys. You get the idea. Spray paint. Yeah, and this doesn't even have to be perfect on the where it scrapes. You know, it's not even, you know, I'm not cleaning it necessarily. I just want to fill in those little scrape marks, kind of keep the rust from taking hold. That's really good enough. I do wash this out. It has a washout in it. It doesn't seem to get underneath those though, which is interesting. The way they designed it. I got a long air blower that should do a better job of getting in and getting that stuff out from those guards. Let me open that door. Let me open this door. I want to be high on life, not on paint can fumes. Let's get these blades back on. So obviously they go on a certain way. The edge you ground, and I'm going to take that one back a little bit. I'm going to knock that back a little bit. This part here goes up. Okay, or if it's underneath, it goes down. This faces the ground, if that helps. So hang on just a second. I got a little burr on that I want to fix. So it's going to go like so, okay? And even if you got a new one, you get a brand new blade, you have to replace the blade. If you've got a B on this, scratched in or with paint marker or Sharpie, you can hold this blade up to the new blade and see which way it goes. Okay. I'm sure there's a torque spec on that. I don't know what it is. So we're going to say that's pretty good. Just to be safe, we'll see what it is with the ratchet. Oh yeah, no, that one's not going anywhere. No, nowhere at all. Okay. All right. So I got the deck back on, and I'm gonna put this new belt on. So I'll get on the other side. I'm not sure how much you're gonna be able to see, but we'll give it a shot. See what it does. Okay. Yeah, that looks right. Okay. And then, oh, much better. Yeah, okay. There we go. All right, so anyway, I don't know how much of that you're able to see. Now it's just a matter of putting the guards back on and testing it out. All right, we're gonna test it out, see if it works. Lower it down a little bit.